Do you consider yourself a reliable authority, Dr. Holtrop?
On immunizations?
Yes.
No, I go and ask, I look for information from others as to what to do, and that is what we are taught to do in pediatrics.
Okay. And so who do you look to for information regarding immunization?
The Center for Disease Control. I have a suggestion.
Oh, wonderful.
Because it'll be impressive enough. The fact that this child has not gotten any immunizations previously means this poor child will have to be tortured with 6 different injections at the same time. And if you would like to put those 6 up at the one visit, at her first visit to get all these immunizations, I'm happy to do that.
Dr. Holtrop, at 2 months of age, how many injections does a child receive?
Typically, if we use a combination vaccine, it is typically the DTaP polio hepatitis B, then it is the pneumococcal, and it is, you usually can get by with 3, and then the oral rotavirus.
Has the government ever studied the amount of vaccines that all of our kids get in one sitting? You get measles, mumps, rubella. Sometimes that's coupled with even other vaccines. Have they looked at the whole picture?
Right, and that's what me and my colleagues at Safe Minds are a little worried about. There's a CDC report that says that usually simultaneous vaccination has not been completely studied for safety. And that's what we're worried about. Babies get as many as 6 or sometimes 7 vaccines altogether, and the CDC is admitting that they don't always research them that way. And
if you were to have, if the judge were to rule that Faith should receive the age-appropriate vaccines, and she were to, and you were in practice, and she were in your office, how would you go about catching a child out on vaccines?
In Faith's case, my understanding is that she is 2.5 years old. I've gone through and looked at all the vaccines that she is behind on. It is the fact that she did not receive her immunizations according to the schedule makes it feel very uncomfortable for us as pediatricians to have to catch her up the way we would have to, but I have done it. She is due for, at a minimum, 6 needle pokes, which we have done, and the best way to do that, and that is actually a recommendation from a variety of sources, to immunize all at once rather than to put it off and give it spread out over a period of time. And the best way to do it is to have multiple people, staff that one immunizes here, one here, one here, one here, and it just goes 1, 2, 3, go, get it done and over with.
All right. And in administering these vaccines, do you care which manufacturer made the vaccines?
No.
But it's not something that you look into, or
No.
Isn't it true that the American Academy of Pediatrics receives and relies upon millions of dollars of donations from pharmaceutical companies, including Pfizer, Merck, Glaxo, the GSK, and Sanofi?
What I can tell you is that the American Academy of Pediatrics very carefully reviews whether the donations that they receive from any source as to potential conflicts of interest.
Do you want to move to strike the answer is non-responsive?
I'm not going to strike the answer.
Okay. I'll ask it again. Isn't it true that the AAP receives, the American Academy of Pediatrics receives and relies upon millions of dollars of donations from pharmaceutical companies, including the 4 major vaccine manufacturers that we just went through?
I have no idea. I don't bother to try and memorize the vaccine manufacturer.
Okay, so you don't know the manufacturers for any of the vaccines?
She doesn't have it memorized.
I don't have it memorized. I'm not sure what the need for that is.
Okay, so you've asked her that, so let's move on.
And do you know the product names for any of them?
Some of them, yeah.
Okay, which ones do you know?
Pediatrix is a combination vaccine. For hepatitis B, I want to say there's Engerix. But again, this is not something that I spend a lot of time trying to memorize because it's pointless.
Doesn't matter who manufactures it.
It doesn't.
At 2.5 years of age, you're saying getting 6 vaccines is torture, but a 6-month-old would have to receive, we just counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 vaccines, correct? That's not.
Sir,
So are we
you have me
talking
so
about
confused
pokes?
at this point.
Hold on. Are we talking about pokes or vaccines? Some of them are combinations.
I think we're
correct?
talking about injections, number of actual injections.
Right.
Pokes.
So she's saying, your testimony was you think it's torture to do that to a 2.5-year-old to have 6 different injections at once.
It is a balance between whether you do it and cause the pain versus you don't do it and then put this child at risk. And typically, we will go ahead and do it, and I have done it.
Let me show our viewers how many different vaccines some children can get in one sitting. I believe we have a full screen that we can show. Maybe we can push in on this. For instance, at 2 months of age, doctor, I hope you can see this, they get as many as 5 different vaccines.
Yeah,
5 or 6 vaccines at once. Same as at 4 months. At 6 months, they get tons. At 12 months, they get up to 6. At 15 months, they get up to 6. Why isn't the CDC looking at these combinations?
Well, the CDC, I think, is just assuming they're safe.
How did you first learn about this lawsuit?
So the American Academy of Pediatrics is broken up into districts, and we are part of District 5. It was the chair of District 5 who sent an email to several of us at the MIAAP talking about the fact that there is a case and could somebody help out. As it turned out, it happened to be in the area that I live in, and since I do have some experience in the area of immunizations, I volunteered.
You know, 20, 30 years ago, we only gave babies 2 vaccines at a time, with a total of about 8 injections throughout their childhood. Now we give babies 6 or 7 vaccines each time, and over 50 injections spread throughout their childhood. So I think parents would rather go the extra mile and spread the vaccines out, because I think parents feel like their babies are being overloaded.
Certainly, if they're educated, I think you're right about that. We asked.
Do you consider yourself a reliable authority, Dr. Holtrop?
On immunizations?
Yes.
No, I go and ask, I look for information from others as to what to do, and that is what we are taught to do in pediatrics.
Okay. And so who do you look to for information regarding immunization?
The Center for Disease Control and the ACIP.
The Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices?
Yes.
And those are the only authorities that you rely upon?
For this information, yes.
And you wouldn't consider any other governmental or non-governmental organization that studies this topic to be a reliable authority?
I guess the answer is no.